Brother, that bag has water. You can give it out to me by starting. Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا إنا أعتدنا للكافرين سلاسل وأغلالا وسعيرا إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنة وحريرا متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تضليلا ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون إذا رأيتهم حسبتهم لؤلؤا منثورا وإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر واستبرق وحلوا أساور من فضة وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا إنا نحن نزلنا عليك القرآن تنزيلا فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تطع منهم آثما أو كفورا واذكر اسم ربك بكرة وأصيلا ومن الليل فاسجد له وسبحه ليلا طويلا إن هؤلاء يحبون العاجلة ويذرون وراءهم يوما ثقيلا نحن خلقناهم وشددنا أسرهم وإذا شئنا بدلنا أمثالهم تبديلا إن هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما يدخل من يشاء في رحمته والظالمين أعد لهم عذابا أليما صدق الله العلي العظيم صدق الرسول النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الحمد لله رب العالمين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. اللهم بحق فاطمة وأمها وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إن شئت سهلا فاجعل أمورنا كلها سهلا يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك يا محول الأحوال حاول حالنا إلى أحسن حال بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. اللهم صل على محمد. شكرا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك الحمد لله المالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح خالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق والصلاة والسلام وتحية والإكرام مولانا ومولى الثقلين شد الحسن والحسين أبو القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد Hazrat Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Though we are late now, so I won't give a recap of what Janab Farshori Sahab was discussing yesterday, and without any delay I'll call him on the pulpit to discuss the issue in detail as to Wilayah of Ahle Bayt and the postmodernized world. Please welcome him with your loudest salawats. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
वो देखेंगे वो थोड़ा तो हम बिल्कुल बता दें बहुत डिफिकल्ट किस्म की इंशाल्लाह मौला कबूल कर देंगे मुझे बटन वगैरह तो पता नहीं लेकिन हम ट्राई करेंगे. Jafar, can you see at me, please? Voice? Yes. पर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सलवात. सूरतुल फातिहा. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يعد حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدرك بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفتن الذي ليس له صفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل ممدود أما بعد صلى الله عليك سيدي ومولاي حبيب إله العالمين وخاتم النبيين أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد وصلى الله على من هو عند الرسول أخي وابن عمي ووسي ووارثي وموضع السر أبو الحسنين مولى القونين إمام الثقلين يعصوب الدين رئيس الموحدين قائد الغر المحجلين والسيد المتقين أمير المؤمنين أسد الله الغالب غالب على كل غالب مظهر العجائب علي بن أبي طالب
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة يا باب نجاة الأمة يا عبرة لكل مؤمن ومؤمنات يا غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء فيا ليتني يا ليتني كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما أما بعد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين هاجروا في سبيل الله ثم قتلوا أو ماتوا ليرزقنهم الله رزقا حسنا وإن الله لهم خير الرازقين صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In continuing our majalis and our theme that we are discussing, it should be worth to note that there is no place on this earth which cannot be or has not been a place of musibah of Ahlul Bayt. Not one place on this earth, not one area where men have come to build buildings has been devoid of the azab Sayyid al-Shuhada. So whether we are in that building or this building, at that time or this time, all of it belongs to the sunnah of the malaika and the jinn. So to add to the barakah of this building, to reflect onto the walls the sound of durood, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. How can we show, if someone asks us, that Islam is important in the present, not just in the past? When it comes to the past, this is the essential claim of any atheist or postmodernist, that even if your religion helps you and makes you a good person, that may be so, but its true value, if any, belongs to history. Your religion, Islam, is an artifact of Arabia. That's what this religion is to you. It's a collection of Arabic language and military history and literature and architecture and great civilizational merit, but it belongs to the past in the way that you walk through a museum and you look at a piece of art from the past and say, mashallah, isn't that amazing? And you move on. And they will say to us, all of Islam is as valuable as a piece in a museum which belongs to a certain era, and then you move on. This is the essential claim of the postmodernists, that today religion, Islam, any spiritual path is defined by the history that it came from and that it belongs to. This is why you find there are so many non-Muslims who are experts on Islam. Why? Why are universities filled with departments of Islamic studies And why are all of the professors and associate professors non-Muslim? Why is there funding for research and grants to study Islam in non-Muslim countries from non-Muslim hands to non-Muslim thinkers? Why? It's because those thinkers have no relationship to the religion of Islam. It's simply something they are studying. That's it. There's no unity between the ilm and ma'lum, the one who is the alim, and the ilm itself. There's none. You and I learn Islam because it can help our lives, not for most people in this world who are writing and speaking and publishing and speaking on the news about Islam. For them, it is one thing to reflect on and then move on. So if we're asked, how do you prove your religion belongs to the present and not to the past, we have to answer this properly. Okay, over the last few nights, I would say since the 1st of Moharram, we've been looking at the value of Islam, which this world would not give us credit for. Because the world is so busy at taking value away from religion, it won't appreciate that this faith gives us haqq, gives us truth, because it's a world where truth no longer means anything. They won't appreciate that Islam helps you in understanding history, because they say there's no way of knowing history through a theory like religion. When we say there is one thing called society, the social spirit of Islam, this belongs as a figment of our culture only. The postmodernists have an answer for all the things we argue. Therefore, we have to show that Islam belongs right here, right now, and is as imminent to us right now as it was to the life of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That question is actually, if you reflect on it, a whole different question. The true question they're asking is the Islam of today, yarhamukumullah, representative of the values of the original Islam? That's the real question. Because if the answer is anything except yes, they win. Because they've been saying to us, religion belongs to the past. If we haven't actually preserved the same religion of 1400 years ago, they can easily say, fine, all of your Islam that you have right now is a figment of your culture, or through abrogation and through time. It's suffered through time. And the value of your religion is not for today, because you're not even real Muslims. Your faith is so far detached from haqqan deen al-murtaza, the chosen religion, that how can you claim to offer something to a modern world with technology and advancement and democracy and so many non-Muslims looking for meaning and purpose? Okay. The issue now becomes more difficult, because if you go through our history and our past, there have been some difficult times for us to preserve our religion even before now. We have gone through Karbala, it's true. But we've also gone through periods in history where there was corruption, and there were people who were distorting our narrations, people who were burning our libraries, people who were taking away our civilization from us. Right now there is no Muslim civilization. I'll make it even harder. If you look right now in the world, if you look at Muslims today, do you see in them the beauty of the family of the Prophet? If you look at Muslim civilization today right now, which most non-Muslims are going to be looking at, is there a Muslim country today which perfectly represents the deen of the Holy Prophet and his family right now, meaning that they have achieved it already? Well, it's hard, because how can we point to something today and say, you want to know what Rasulullah was like? Look at this country. We don't have that, or we haven't had it for a long time if we do have it. So the issue is difficult. However, today I will argue for all of you in today's majalis that the day of Ashura, if we actually ponder, Ashura is a defense of all of the values of Islam in one day. All of them were showed in one day, the true virtue of this religion. Ahsan, thank you. Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. The next point is also important. And everything from Ashura until now, all of the values of Islam, true Islam, have been preserved through azadari. Okay? So Ashura represents the true Islam. When the Imam ﷺ says, إِنِّي مَا خَرَجْتُ طَلَبَ الْإِصْلَاحِ فِي أُمَّتِي جَدِّي, he achieved that reform on that day. But the process of Muslims like us gathering together to sit in the majalis, this gathering we are having now, replicated throughout history, going back generations and generations, achieved something. And the thing it achieved was through the confines of the black walls of the majlis, and between the black floor and the black clothed people in the room, somehow the exact true values of Islam were preserved through the majalis of Hussain alayhi salam. That true religion. And we can only appreciate this point if we understand that our true inheritance that we have right now is shahadat from Abu Abdullah. And everything comes through this shahadat. So today, in going to look at and reflecting the beauty of our inheritance, that we have all been born with a collective identity of Azadari, let's see how through Azadari everything has been saved and preserved for us today. And so the answer is yes. Islam belongs today as much as it belongs yesterday, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And I would like to ask all of you, inshallah, that to bless this gathering and to send our salams to Imam Zaman alayhi salam. بحب الزهراء صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Shahadat as a theme belongs in the Holy Quran. And Shahadat as a base concept defines one of the most important potentials of the human being. The idea you can be shaheed for the sake of your religion. We read in the Quran, the verse I mentioned, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَالَّذِينَ هَاجَرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. As for those people who go on hijrah for the sake of God. For example, leaving their house from Medina to go towards the Kaaba on the day before Ashura. As for those people who go on hijrah fi sabilillah, ثُمَّ قَتْلُوا أَوْ مَاتُوا. And then they are killed or they die, but they left for the sake of God from their homes. Those people. لَيَرْزُقَنَّهُمُ اللَّهُ رِزْقًا حَسَنًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them not only rizq, the most best of all rizq they can receive. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ خَيْرُ الرَّازِقِينَ. And Allah is the best of the ones who gives provision and sustenance to those who receive it. MashaAllah. Those people who leave their house fi sabilillah, and on their journey they are killed, but their intention was what? Sabilillah, I'm on the path of God. Those people on that path, whether they killed or they die with that same niyyah, shaheed. And the ma'yar of shaheed is Allah Himself gives you rizqun hasana for this one act of dying with that intention. MashaAllah. Let's keep reading. Bismillah. Next verse of Quran. Inna Allahu ashtara min al-mu'minin anfusahum wa amwalahum. I love this verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purchases the selves of some people. He buys you. He makes a transaction with you. Ishtara al-mu'minin wa amwalahum, and all those things which belong to you. Bi'anna lahum al-jannah, and you will find yourself in Jannah. Why? Yuqatiluna fi sabilillah, because you were killed on the path of God. فَيَقْتَلُونَ وَيُقَاتِلُونَ. And maybe you killed others, but you yourself were slain fi sabilillah. This action alone means Allah loves you so much, He Himself purchases you for Himself. So a true shaheed is this person. They are living and somehow they die fi sabilillah. And they are purchased by God because of how much Allah loves the idea that they give down their life and sacrifice their life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the level of shaheed in the Quran. And on the 9th of Moharram I'll go through another verse, that shuhada are alive today receiving rizq from Allah. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٍ بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. They are with God right now, all those killed in the path of Allah. The shaheed has a very high level. There is a very interesting view of a shaheed by Ali Shariati and Ayatollah Mutahari when they discuss what a shaheed actually means. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Shaheed has the same root letters of shahid. Shaheed, one who is killed for the sake of Allah and the path of Allah. Shahid, one who witnesses. When the Quran says, Alastu rabbikum qalu bala shahidnakum, ya Allah, we bear witness, we witness you are one Lord. Shahid is someone who bears witness. So they say a true shaheed is someone that the moment their blood is shed, their blood bears witness for how they lived fi sabilillah. That's shaheed. You are a shahid. Every shaheed you see is making a statement with their death. They're making a claim to all of you. And the